Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Oh, hello. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. This is Run It Back, the show about basketball. Lucky for us, Lou Will, Chandler P, and myself, we have a lot of basketball to talk about. Guys, we are going to start with this game. We're going to start with the positive, okay? Because there's going to be a lot of rage left over for the Celtics when it's all said and done. But let's give it up for the Knicks, who have just been incredible and had themselves a Groundhog Day of a game in Game 2. The exact same thing happening, down 20, come back, huge victory in Boston. Now they get to go back to Madison Square Garden up 2-0 on the Celtics. It's insane to me. It wasn't even a Jalen Brunson crazy game on top of all of that. Chandler, I don't have words anymore. I still feel a little shocked. This feels way more shocking than the first one. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I think shocked is the right word, and I think that's how all of Boston is feeling. I think that's how that team is feeling, especially after how Game 1 went down, giving up the lead, settling for a bunch of threes, going 15 of 60, now going 10 of 40. They're 25 of 100 in these two playoff
that's
games.
Awesome.
The Knicks in this series. That is unheard of. And again, it's easy to knock it when it doesn't work. It worked a lot of times this year. But when you watch this team, they settle. And even when you go ice cold like this, which they're proving is possible, man, anything could happen. And you can shoot yourself right out of a big lead, which they have done now twice. And the Knicks are resilient. We always talk about playoff basketball is different. The Knicks are tougher. They play harder. They play with more effort. They bring the punch to them. And they've done that now, even when they're down 20. Nothing's changed with the Knicks. They play the same way. They act the same way, whether they're up 20, down 20, up 6. It doesn't really matter. And that is huge when it comes to a slower, more physical style playoff game. But, man, I'm still shocked. I'm shocked they lost the first one. I'm shocked they lost the second one. The fact that it's 2-0 is absolutely nuts. Again, like the other series, I don't think they're over. The Boston Celtics are a great team. They're the best road team this season, 33-8, I think, on the road. So they're not done, but nobody saw this coming. This is absurd.
Feels pretty done, Lou. Feels pretty done. I mean,
it's a lot of basketball.
It's hard to look at
played.
that, but it's hard to look at their body language and their arrogance and not changing and think, yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they gotta adjust. Like you gotta make some adjustments. I know that you're the defending champs and you have a certain brand of basketball that you play, but the New York Knicks are clearly they're ready to match you at everything that you do well. They make adjustments on the fly. We just seen it when the game was on the line. Jason Tatum gets a running head start to get a dunk for the game. They try to run the same exact play 20 seconds later, and it don't work. Like, they're adjusting on the fly. They tried to get a switch with Mitchell Robinson. OG fought like hell for them not to get the switch. Even when they got the switch on Mitchell Robinson, OG came back to help. They didn't allow him to play on the island for the game. That's in a team adjusting on the fly. The Boston Celtics, they got to adjust. I know we keep saying that they're going to live and die by the three-pointer. They're dying by it. At some point, somebody got to say, you know what? I don't want to die this way. I got to change. I got to change the trajectory of how we're playing and how we're going about this thing. And they just refuse to. Like, you used the word arrogant. I think they're just stubborn. They're just stubborn in their ways, and they won't adjust. And if they're not, the New York Knicks are going to be just fine, and they're going to win this series. Now, the moment that they stop, check out some film and make some adjustments to beat this basketball team, then that's when the series will start. Until then, it's going to go the New York Knicks way.
Yeah, the Celtics, Michelle, are playing like the team that's just been told they're the best team all season long.
Correct.
Like, that matters anything now. You know what I mean? Like they've just been kind of put on this pedestal all season long for rightfully so, and on some aspects of it. They're defending champs. They were great all year long. Without Cleveland having this historic start to the season, even with them having that, the Celtics are still the team to beat. But now they've been punched in the mouth. Then they just got punched in the mouth again. So the fact that history is repeating itself, they're blowing 20-point leads. They went from 8:40 left in the game to 18 seconds or something. 0 field goals. Like, that is hard to do when you have athletic playmaking wings like Jaylen Brown, like Jason Tatum, like Derek White, like Drew Holiday. These guys can all get downhill, get to the basket, and don't have to settle for threes. Let Pritchard shoot threes. Let Sam Hauser, let Porzingis even shoot threes. Those other 4 guys are too good and too physical to be settling. Get to the rim, and again, they're a great 3-point shooting team, a historic 3-point shooting team. It's not working right now in this series. You are ice cold. You have to adapt or adjust, or this is going to continue to get worse and worse.
I thought they did, though, Chandler. I thought they did. Like Tatum and Brown, they did play with their backs to the baskets. But even when they did play with their backs to the basket, they still were fading away. They still were relying on jump shots. Like, you got to go through somebody's body. You got to impose will. Like Jalen Brunson did it. I'm going to stop this clock. I'm a foul bait a little bit, but I'm still going to get an easy 2 points just to slowly grind this team down, you know, and you make a great point. With so many 3-point shooters on that team, allow some other guys to do it. But as the stars, we're going to be the ones that impose force and impose will on this team. And then that'll open up the 3-point line. Like we're just going and going and going from the 3-point line, hoping that a shot go in. I forget how long it was, but I know they went 14 straight trips down the court without a field goal. At some point, I remember nobody cares about the old NBA anymore. I get it. Nobody cares.
I do, Lou. Talk.
Okay, well, Beadle and I, we remember a time in the NBA, 2 or 3 trips down the court. If you don't get a bucket, there's a big guy or your best player. He's going to stop, put his hand up, and play with his back to the basket. He's either going to try to get a layup or he's going to try to get a foul to kind of stop the bleeding. Now, I know this was a grind-out game, but New York is playing a better, grittier, grind-out game. So if you're going to get into that style of play, that's going to go New York's way. So you got to take a page out of their book. Sometimes you got to beat a team at what they're good at. And right now, New York is doing that to Boston, and Boston is not returning the favor and trying to slow this game down and using some of their best assets in their favor.
And Lou, to give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit, they did miss some wide open shots. And when you touch the paint, you swing, you get some good corner looks. They just didn't go down. Again, they're ice cold. Who knows the reason why? Maybe they'll get better shooting. But Tatum and Brown combining for 6 combined free throws, Lou.
There it is.
You can't do that. Like that is inexcusable. That is how you lose games. And as a player, you have to be more aware. Jumpers aren't falling. We're not used to this. It hasn't happened often this season. But when they're not falling, we still have other ways to win basketball games on the defensive end, being athletic, getting to the free throw line. 2 physical players like Tatum and Brown can't go for 6 free throws in a game.
Agreed.
I feel like, and by the way, I lied. We're doing the Celtics first, then we'll get to the Knicks. But I feel like there was that moment, second to last play for Tatum, where he drives all the way to the basket, and the crowd went crazy because they're dying. They're in a desert, just thirsty for anything, and they finally get 1 second of, and then there was the broken play that ends everything, and it was just gross. So here's my question, because everybody has to evolve. You do have to figure something out. Yeah, this final possession looks like there's absolutely nothing planned, nothing thought out. If you are supposed to be one of the best players that you told us in this league, guys, please explain to me what the hell this final play is for Jason Tatum.
I gotta keep it real. This is coaching right here. So again, the possession before that, he gotta run to the basket in a wide open dunk by using Mitchell Robinson's foot speed against him, right? But again, this team is adjusting. The Knicks just saw you get that layup the same way we just saw you get the layup. So now we're gonna adjust. Look, he got 3 guys around him now. They're not gonna let you play one-on-one. With 12 seconds to go, at least call your timeout and set up in a half court, advance the basketball if you still want him to get a running start. That way you can implement, hey, listen, this is the first option. Hey, he's going downhill. If we don't get that, here's the second option. Here's the third option. We got 12 seconds. We got plenty enough time to get a really good look. Instead, they shot free throws, and he just allowed his best player to go down and make a play. I get it. Some coaches trust their guys. I get that. I'm with that 1,000%. Jason Tatum is a guy that you can put the ball in his hands and he can go make that play. But with 12 seconds to go ahead and use your timeout and advance the basketball if you're going to take it home with you anyways, and set up an emergency plan. Set up something to where if he gets in trouble, you can still use that timeout if you're not going to use it, or he knows to go to a second option. They didn't do any of that. He just put the ball in his hands, allowed them to play freely with the game on the line, and it didn't go their way.
Yeah. Once you see this broken play and then you see that you have a timeout, that's where it's frustrating, where this shouldn't have been this possession. With the game on the line, down 1 on your home court. Again, they guard it beautifully. They're physical. Mitchell Robinson, for a center staying in front, is an awesome job. The help side defense, unbelievable from Bridges. But again, that's partially because the spacing is wrong. They didn't get into their sets. They didn't get to their spots. And even if he makes this shot, which he looks like he was going to pass it anyways, but a one-legged fadeaway, like from the baseline, 17, 18 foot, it's just inexcusable for a team this good and this experienced.
See, he looks like he's in trouble to me here, and I get it. We're Monday morning quarterbacks. We got all the answers today. In real time, this is different. But right now, like at that free throw line, it looks to me he's already in trouble. Like right here.
Oh, yeah. Got 3 guys there.
Yeah, I still got 6 seconds here. Call your timeout. I still got 6 seconds right there. Call your timeout. I gave you an opportunity to create, be creative as the best player on our team. It didn't work out. Okay, give me time. Let me set something up where we can at least get a quality look, and they failed to do so.
So I find the Joe Mazzulla thing, it's going to be an interesting day for Joe Mazzulla. And I know he's not going to listen, but I can tell you I've been up very many hours already and the world's not happy with him. And so we kind of loved him as like the serial killer guy with the crazy quotes all year. But then after this one, he doesn't change anything. Oh, there's some good stuff to see on there. We'll watch the tape. It's the same sort of weird delivery. Doesn't hit the same, Chandler, when you've just lost your second game, almost carbon copied the way you lost the first one in the playoffs with your stars all but disappearing. So I got to ask, like, I know it's 2 games. It is the playoffs. They are the defending champs. But he looks so out of his depth right now. How do you explain whatever it is that Joe Mazzulla has done for 2 games?
Honestly, he's a different dude. He's so quirky. I don't know how to ever explain him. I think the worst thing he could do right now is to panic, and he's not going to do that. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the Celtics are an unbelievable road team. Did they ever think they would be down 2-0 in this series? A team that they absolutely dominated 4 times in the regular season? No chance. So again, I think it's on him to adjust. I think it's on them to get in the film room. I think it's on them to have whatever sort of team meeting, kumbaya, powwow, because things have to change. And they're not just going to go and change everything that's got them to this point. They are still regarded as one of the better teams in the NBA and one of the favorites to win the championship. Now you get down 2-0. How do you respond? What are you actually made of? This is the most, remember last year, the playoffs, they had a cakewalk to the finals. Everyone got hurt. Everyone got banged up. This is the most resilience that they'll ever have to go through that they've ever seen as a team. How will they respond? And what do they do in game 3 to make things differently? And can they go steal back home court? We'll see. But the Joe Mazzulla aspect, again, as a media, as a fan, you want a little more. You want to hear some positive feedback. You want to hear what we're going to do differently. You want to hear why we think we did it again wrong. What is our issue giving up these leads? And he didn't give us that. But again, that's not his job. His job is to get the Celtics ready for game 3 and to not panic. And I think we've learned by now, this is just he's a different dude and he says some crazy stuff, but the series by no means is over, but you got to give credit to the Knicks. They are playing harder. They are the tougher team. And everyone knows they're not as talented. That should tell you everything you need to know.
This is literally every
Coach.
Yeah.
One more thing about Coach. Like, again, I get it. 2 straight games, you get 20-point leads. And so in that, as a coach, you feel like we found something that is getting us over the hump. We're having some success. Like, we're not out there playing the worst type of basketball. They're not efficient on the offensive end, but they've gained 2 20-point leads in back-to-back games. Those are positives. So I agree with him there. So I'm not saying change the way that you play and change your game plan, but now you got to tweak. Now you got to make some in-game adjustments where you tweak things in there, especially until you figure out what's going on Porzingis and the illness that he's dealing with, because he's the catalyst to everything that they're able to do when they break down in the half court, where you can give him the ball at the top of the key and he can be a creator as well off the dribble at that size. So some things you have to tweak. Like for 3 quarters, you guys are the better basketball team. Now in the 4th quarter, how do we change? How do we get this over the hump to get us a win? And that's what he has to look at in the film. So I get it when he says there's a lot of positives and there's a lot of things that they can see on the film that they can build on. But in the 4th quarter, you got to tweak some of the things that you're doing until you get a win.
It's like a 10-year marriage, and you're like, the first 7 years were great. Like, well, okay,
Yeah.
but now what? Like, you got to figure this out. By the way, this is every Hollywood sports movie. It's Mighty Ducks, Mystery Alaska, Bad News Bears. It's the arrogant team that comes in, that's won everything. They have all the best, and they come in this little scrappy team that's got less talent, can't be stopped. And we start now with MIKAL Bridges, because all but silent for almost his entire game, and then bam, drops 14 points in the fourth quarter. Once again, the internet has fallen in love with him. That's 2 games in a row with fun memes. I gotta, Lou, I'm assuming if you're still a hater of MIKAL Bridges at this point, then you just don't like him, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, fourth quarter, he struggled as well. Everybody struggled in this game, but the fourth quarter, you switch into a different gear. You figure out, listen, I got to be one of the guys that's going to make plays. I'm going to make the shots that's afforded to me with so much attention on Brunson and so much attention on Cat. I'm going to be the guy that bring us back in this ball game. And MIKAL was able to do that on both ends. He was able to do that on both ends of the floor. He made timely shots. He got a big stop. This is the second game in a row where he's got to steal for the game. Like, you got to give credit where it's due.
Yep.
So especially when a team has so much attention on 2 other guys, somebody has to be the guy that's going to stand out and that's going to make plays to be able to put you in a position to win basketball games. And that's why they brought MIKAL Bridges to New York. That's why you go out and you put so much on the table to go get a guy like that, a Swiss Army knife, who's going to compete for 48 minutes. He played more minutes than anybody last night on the floor. And again, he wasn't as efficient, but in the fourth quarter, when it's time to win a basketball game, that's when he played his best. And that's what you brought him there for.
Yeah, and I think Bridges is tied to the boatload that they had to give up to get him. Usually when you do that, that's for a number 1 option or a 2 option that's going to be average 25 points a game and give you all that production. He can be that, but on the Knicks, he's not. And that's the beauty of MIKAL Bridges. He's one of the better 2-way players. He's so versatile. You don't have to run plays for him. You don't have to put the ball in his hands, and he's still going to give you 15 to 20 and 5 and 6 rebounds and 3 and 4 assists and impact of winning on the defensive end. Like Lou just said, game on the line, 2 huge plays at the end of the game. That is value. That is what he does. And he is a Swiss Army knife. He's so versatile. He can guard multiple positions. And again, you don't need to give him the ball. You don't want him going to take bad shots. That's not who he is. You have Jalen Brunson to go be that and to be the aggressive guy. You have Karl Anthony Towns, one of the best scoring, shooting bigs in the league. MIKAL Bridges is that kind of glue piece that cuts and moves without the ball, goes on a 7-0 run when they need him the most last night in the fourth quarter to even have this game get somewhat close to be even in striking distance. That was MIKAL Bridges. That's what he does. So again, I understand they gave up a lot to get him, but that's okay. Yep. You don't have to have all these all-star 25-point game scorers. Everybody has their role, and this is MIKAL Bridges' role. It doesn't matter the first 3 quarters. 14 in the fourth and some big stops and clamps and doing what he did, that won them the game.
Oh, I think, by the way, so is he worth the 5 first-rounders then, or just give me a thumbs up, thumbs down?
Again, I love him. I want him on my team. That's a lot. Again, do you want more for that? Sure.
A lot. It is a lot. Look, if they end up going to the finals, I mean, who are we to say anything?
Yeah, if they get to the finals, everything is worth it. It doesn't matter.
It's all worth it. It's all been great.
We're talking that game, by the way, with all this talk about the new Celtics owner and him having to make decisions. They lose this series, those decisions get a lot easier.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, he's sitting there courtside like, this is going to be cake. All right, let's talk Karl Anthony Towns. Again, I feel like the theme here is the Knicks figure out ways during the course of the game to adjust, to adapt, to tweak, whereas Celtics do none of that. Because here we are with Karl Anthony Towns, 21, 17 rebounds. He only shot 1 3. So clearly there are different ways for the same guy to come out and have different games, Lou. Talk about Cat a little bit and how great this version of him really is.
Yep, he adjusted, play with his back to the basket, from the block to the mid-range, all the way out to the three-point line. Like, I've seen people criticizing him for catching the ball at the 3, but again, where else are you going to find a guy this size that can be dangerous by putting the ball on the floor, especially when you got an older guy in Al Horford guarding you? Not to pick on Al Horford, that's my dog right there. But again, you got to take advantage of the advantages that you are afforded, and he was able to do that. He started on the block, even when he got pushed out to the mid-range. He face up. I got jump shot. I got drives. I got everything. You gonna push me out to the three-point line? I got that too. But I'm not gonna settle for the 3. I'm gonna put pressure on you to foul me or get out of my way because I'm 6'10", I'm 6'11", and you can't stop me when I put this ball on the floor. Not a lot of guys can play that way. So I give a lot of credit for Cat to being being able to go look at the film and see what adjustments can you make, see how you can make it difficult for defenses to guard you. And last night he did that just by being himself, just by being more dominant than everybody else and being the aggressor.
Yeah, and we said this before the series. There's no one on the Celtics that can guard this man. And that is no disrespect to Al Horford, to Porzingis. He is a different kind of dude offensively. He's so talented. And again, you hit a couple of threes, sure, go nuts. Take 15 threes in that game if you're hot and you're making 7, 8, 9 of them. No problem. But what he did is he adjusted last night, like Luda said. He played bully ball. He went back to the basket. He got to his hook. And because of that, then they started to help him. Then he's making passes, finding cutters. And we haven't even talked about Josh Hart. Josh Hart was the best player on the floor last night for the Knicks the entire game. And that is the beauty of this team. Jalen Brunson, they know is the guy. They know the ball is going to be in his hands in clutch. Just won the clutch player of the year. Cat does what he does. The beauty of OG and Bridges and Josh Hart, they don't need the ball. They play within their game. They play hard and they defend. And no matter what they're happening on their offensive game, missing shots, making shots, that doesn't impact their effort on the other end. And that is rare these days. We just saw Houston go with that. Certain guys' offensive game wasn't going. They were taken out of the game, and the Rockets were better without him on the floor. That's not the case with Josh Hart. It's not the case with Bridges. And that's not the case with OG. There's value in those type of versatile players that are 3-and-D type of guys.
I'm a little curious about this. So the Knicks they're very slight favorites to come out of the series, which doesn't feel like they're slight. But they're 5-point underdogs in game 3, which can you imagine the Garden on Saturday afternoon? Dear Lord. Celtics were the best team in the league on the road all season long. Chandler, what chance are you giving the Celtics to actually turn this thing around?
They have to, right? Like this is it. Like, you're not going to go down 3-0. They need this game.
I don't think they're gonna.
It is a little nuts that they're 5-point favorites after everything we said. But like Lou mentioned earlier, they've won like 6 of these 8 quarters. They haven't done everything wrong. They have gotten big leads and have done some things right. They have just gone ice cold. We haven't seen 25 for 100. I don't think that's going to continue for these next couple of games. So yes, there's hope. Yes, they're still a really, really good team. And we are 1 win away from talking about them having all the momentum and the Knicks having all the pressure to go up 3-1 on their home floor. So again, the Knicks have done a great job. They have been resilient. They have been the tougher team. Those first 2 games are over with now. Can they stay locked in? And then can they win a game? And can they play a game without creating such a deficit and such a hole? Can they get the early lead and can they keep it? So I'll mention this game obviously is going to be awesome because this game is the series for the Boston Celtics. And I do think they'll respond. And I see the ticket prices are insane. I think it's like $980 just to get in or something. Like it's going to be
crazy.
Awesome. It's going to be awesome at the Garden. I mean, call me crazy. I think the Celtics get this one. They have to.
I think it's a 0.00 chance that the Boston Celtics come out of this series.
You're thinking sweep?
That's my or gentlemen's at best. I truly, there was actual like fear in their eyes and nothing but confidence on the Knicks side. And I don't know why that would change going. Do you know how hostile that building's going to be on Saturday? If you were scared at home in front of your friends and family, yeah, good luck on Saturday in New York, Celtics.
Sometimes it's better to get away from the noise. Sometimes it's better to put your city on your back, go out on the road and get a win. I'm telling you, listen, there's only been one team with a home win so far. Let's see if that keeps going. Right.
By the way, that's crazy. That's
crazy. Like it's only been one win at home so far. So let's see if that keeps going. But if the Celtics are anything like we thought they were, like Jaylen Brown said it last night. We have to show what we're made of. If we're the team that we think we are, we got to go out on the road and we got to perform. I expect them to bounce back. I expect them to tweak some things, but again, they can't be this stubborn to the fact that this is beating them. This is killing them slowly, and they won't make adjustments. I think we see a different team that finishes the job come up for a couple of days, but who knows?
What?
I gotta be honest with you. I'd be more surprised at a sweep or a gentleman's sweep than the Boston Celtics winning 4 straight and winning in 6. Like that. That's how good.
Would you like to put a friendly wager on it?
Let's not turn on them so quickly.
I'm just asking if you want a friendly wager. One of your watches versus something I pick out of my house. All right, boom.
Oh
All right,
I was a witness.
Yeah, Lou's there and whoever's watching. We do have a fun video. I just want anybody who's played professionally, that would be you two, Tell me how this happens.
I talked about this last night in real time with the group chat. I said, "Whoa,
I've never."
Did y'all? Anybody watching the game? But that's what
it might be the worst. It might be the worst air ball of all time.
It has to be, right? It has to be. And just his reaction, like he thought it was going to be real. I mean, I've been tired before, but
look at the score. They're up 14 with 8 minutes to go. This happens. The bench is laughing, and they still took this lead.
That is grit. Mike, I could watch this. I might watch this 50 more times during the course of today. There was another game last night, although you wouldn't know it, because unlike most of the games we've seen so far in these here playoffs, this one actually really was over in the first quarter. I don't know what happened to Denver out in OKC, but woohoo, we got ourselves a home team win, like Lou said. This one's all tied up at 1 apiece. A 149-106 total. That is, I can't. SGA finishes with 34, 8-4, highest plus minus in NBA history. We don't normally care, but it's plus 51. That seems like worth a mention. This was, Lou, it's your team. And I know I started with you after their first game, like what happened, but now it's time to brag a little bit. Holy
this, my
moly.
friends, this is how you respond when you feel like you smoked the game. When you feel like you gave a game away or you choked or whatever we want to call it, this is how you respond when you have the caliber of team that you have in OKC. Like, they feel like they're the best team in the West. They know for a fact that they let that game go, and they responded from top to bottom. Every single person that OKC put out on the floor last night made an impact, and they made, you know how sometimes like 2 points can feel like 10 points depending on what you do, whether it's a big dunk or an and one or something. They did this time and time again yesterday, and they just took Denver's heart away. And Denver, they said, you know what? We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys back in Denver. Y'all got it. And they laid down. And that's how you want a team to respond, especially when you come down the end of a game and you do the things that you do in order for you to lose a basketball game. You come back and you respond in this manner. That's what you love to see from your team.
Yeah, minimal experience, the youngest team in the NBA, and they respond like this, and the Boston Celtics don't. That is the craziest part.
All right. Get off the Celtics. Get off the Celtics.
Are you want to get back on my sweep, gentlemen, sweep bandwagon?
To me, obviously they laid an egg. They smoked a lead. This response made that game look even worse, to be honest with you. Like, they're the two favorites in each conference. Everyone since October has been saying it's going to be the Thunder and the Celtics. And this is how the younger, less experienced team responds. And again, I don't know what the most impressive part was. Probably that they scored 87 points in the first half. 6 guys with double digits, and I think K. Smalls had like 8. They almost had 7 guys in double digits in the first half. This is how you handle business. This is how you don't hang their head. Same thing in their presser after the game 1. They were sitting there. Jalen Williams with this whole rebounding thing. They were a little arrogant too, but they responded and they put their money where their mouth is. And this is how you clap back. This is how you gain back this series. Again, now game 3, I have way more faith in the Oklahoma City Thunder than I do in the Boston Celtics, because I just witnessed a unbelievable response from such a young team. So this is impressive.
You have eyes.
Offensively, like Lou said, this game was. I think what Westbrook was trying to get kicked out at one point. Jokic was trying to foul. Like this game was over.
This was ugly. Yeah, because we've seen, we've talked about it so many times, like these runs and up 20, up 25, whatever. This one just felt really, really bad. By the way, the SGA stat line of 34, 8-4, 11-11 from the free throw line, that's all just in the 30 minutes that he played out there, which is incredible. I'm assuming we still think he's going to end up being the MVP. It's an almost flawless performance. There is a moment, though, Lou, I really want you to sort of take a look at him on the bench. At this point, they are up 1,000 points, give or take. And this is him, and he's so young, and yet, what's going on here? He's locked in.
This is really hot. This is why we were sad when he got traded, because we saw the potential in the player that he was going to become, and this is who he is. This is a live look at who he is. It's like, man, I'm up so many points. I'm bored to the fact that I'm ready to get on to the next game and continue hooping and continue whooping these guys out. But flawless game last night, from him, from his teammates, from everybody involved. And it starts with him. He's the head of the snake. He's the leader of the leader of the troops. He went out there, led by example, played with force from the tip. And listen, this is what I like about OKC. They can score at the three-point line. They can score in the mid-range. They can get to the basket and score. And they take pride in playing defense. Every single person that they put, like, it's not one guy that's on their team that's considered a liability on the defensive end. Everybody that they put on the floor can guard. 1 through 5, they don't care. They switch. They're going to help. They can guard one-on-one. They're just a young team that's primed for a deep, deep playoff run. So I love the fact that this is how they responded. And I love the fact that SGA was bored because he's ready to go on and play the next game. So this is a series that's going to go a bunch of games. We've talked about that already, but now you got to start paying attention to OKC if they're going to continue to play this way. This thing might be over faster than we know it.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Lou,
that's a hot take.
you make a good point there too, Lou. Usually when you're as an offensive team, you're looking to find a mismatch. You're looking to find who's the weakness, who can I go out, who can I try and get in foul trouble. You can't do that against the Thunder. And yeah, Jokic is going to have great games. As good as Hartenstein and Chet and those guys are, he's so gifted offensively. They're going to have big games. Murray's going to have some big, outpourings of games where he's going to make crazy shots. But for the most part, they can switch everything. They can go big. They can go small. They are one of the better defensive teams I've ever seen. So like, there is no holes in their defense. As good as Nuggets are offensively, there's no mismatch out there. They have to create with execution and movement. And when they give up so many points they did last night, it's impossible to even fight back in this game because the Thunder's defense is so good. And when their offense is clicking like that, they have no shot. So again, look at their bench points, 57 bench points. Everyone knows their role. This is the response that I was looking for, and it's the response they gave us. And again, they kind of showed us we're the best team in the NBA last night.
I mean, that is the response I think we all expected from both of the teams going in last night with a loss already. Sam Presti just won Executive of the Year, which is, yes, you're seeing why last night was a good example, because they had a really good up-and-coming team already, and then they went out and they figured out, all right, we got a couple places we can improve. They had Hartenstein and Caruso. So as far as constructing a roster, Chandler, I got to imagine everyone around the league's like trying to take tips from what they did. It's perfect.
I commented on Shams when he posted, I said, of the decade. This guy should last year, the year before, and the next 7 years. Who's going to do a better job than what they've already, funneled in with their existing team, their picks, their cap, everything that this guy has done beautifully and perfectly. He brings in the right guys. You just mentioned Hartenstein and Caruso. People kind of looked at that Hartenstein contract, the $80 million, I think it was. It's such a good fit. And then when you have guys that are so young and hungry and committed to both sides of the ball, like they do, they just can keep developing guys. They're good in the draft. That this Sam Presti deserves the biggest raise in the history of the front office. And he's done one of the more impressive jobs, not just in the NBA, of all of sports. This team is set up for success because of him and the job he's done. So congrats. And I don't think this is going to be the last one he wins.
Got like a lifetime achievement already. It's already been doing it. By the way,
he's a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer just based on what he's done right now.
Just this. SGA did have like a nice little minute-long sort of monologue about Hartenstein and how much they appreciate him and his sort of professionalism and all that. So again, if you didn't think they all got along, turns out they really do. We know the stars, the bench. We flashed that down there for a second there, but if you missed it, the bench last night for OKC had 57 points. And I get it. A total of 149 is a crazy amount in a playoff game. But if this is the kind of depth that they're putting out there, you're the rest of the league, Lou. What can you take from that? And I know it's easier said than done, but dear Lord, 57 off the bench is nice.
It's a little misleading because that was a big game and some guys was out there playing with house money. But the guys that you expect to go out there and play well off the bench, they did. I'm looking at the stats right here. Like Caruso only had 2 points in this game, but his impact was on the defensive end. He's an energy guy. He's going to be a disruptor. So his impact doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. When you have other guys like a Jalen Williams and all of these other guys, they are impact players and they go out and just do their jobs. Like I've never seen a team go out and every single person just plays their role and they be a superstar in their role 100%. There's nobody wanting to be SGA. There's nobody wanting to be Lou Dort. There's nobody out there wanting to be Chet Holmgren. All of these guys are stars in their roles and they go out there and they have literally bought into the team concept. When you have something like that, when you have a group like that, it's special. So when you're looking around the league, That should be your mission statement to guys. Look, just be a star in your role. Let's build a great nucleus of a basketball team, and we'll see the results of that come next season or seasons to come if you guys can buy into what we're trying to build. And OKC has been able to do that with all of these guys.
57, Chandler. I get it. It's the whole thing. All right, let's just for poops and giggles, let's look at the Nugget side for 1 second, because Jokic fell out of this one in the third, lowest plus minus of his career. Again, not always a thing, but minus 36, it seems significant for a guy like him. I don't know if you even do you look at film from this one? You throw it away and just be like, let's just get home.
I think you almost try and find some positive, which is going to be
Okay.
hard to do because this game was over so quick. Again, you don't want to beat a dead horse here. This game was ugly. A lot of times you just kind of flush it and keep moving, and even maybe go back to game one of what worked more than what worked in game two, because not a lot worked there. And again, these numbers are a little skewed. Like Nuggets plus minus, like he was trying to foul out. Like he was trying to send a message. The game was over. Like Westbrook, I don't know how he didn't get tossed. He was literally peppering.
He's trying.
He was asking for it.
Yeah, like
He wanted it.
And as vet guys, sometimes you do that to set the tone. Like, look, we're not giving that. We still have fight. We're so, like, this game might be over, but at the end of the day, it's 1-1. We already stole one. We're going back to the crib, which is the hardest arena and the hardest altitude to play in. We already have that advantage for us. Let's go and let's clean some things up and let's flush this game. Let's get ready for a huge game 3, because it can easily just swing back to our favor. We have Jokic. We know what we have to do to win. We obviously got to be better defensively. We obviously got to get off to better starts. We can't. No one's going to win a game giving up 87 points in the first half. That's just, it's impossible to do. So again, I think they'll continue to look at some things and get better, but sometimes you just want to move on from a game. You don't want to relive this.
Just put it away. And by the way, again, congratulations, OKC, for winning a game at home. It's a very big deal. We're going to take a quick break. Some more games to look at on the other side when we return.
Run it back, run it up, run it back.
Game 2 tonight, and another chance for Minnesota to redeem themselves. The bad news for the Warriors, however, is, of course, Steph Curry is going to be out games 2, 3, and 4. He'll be reevaluated for the grade 1 hamstring strain in about a week. Look, they won one, Chandler, so I don't know if that makes anything better, not better. What do you think the vibe is with Golden State right now, given the news?
I think they're confident. I think this is why you go and make that move for Jimmy Butler. I think 10.5 points is a wild spread. If I was a betting man, I'd be all over 10.5 Golden State, because they defend. And like I said yesterday, they're not getting worse defensively. Yes, offensively, it's going to be hard for them to create space. It's going to be hard for them to, score as many points. But that's not what the playoffs has been about this entire season. They only gave up 88 points last game. So they can win games. They can beat this team on the defensive end. They still have their closer in Jimmy Butler. Yes, they need Buddy Hield to go get some points. Yes, they need someone to make a difference off the bench, whether it's Moody or Kuminga, or it's got to be someone that's got to provide that spark. But I expect Kerr to kind of switch up his rotations a little bit, his adjustments. Pat Spencer's going to play. Maybe they end up even going a little bigger this year, and they play Quentin Post a little bit more, to match up with Rudy, to bring him out, to make him guard, outside instead of clean up the paint. So I think there's different things that they can clean up to even give them even more of an advantage in this game. And I love them. With those odds, plus 400 and plus 10.5, I'm all over the Warriors game too.
Yeah, that seems skewed, Lou. Look, in any other world, you'd be like, Steph Curry's out. That just seems like the worst news you could possibly get. But Draymond then comes out and says Jimmy Butler's more than capable of carrying a team. So do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with him. And again, Jimmy has always been an all-star, superstar level guy. Every team that he's played on, he's been either the 1 option or the 2 option. And Steph Curry going out, now he's just back to the 1 option. This is territory that he's familiar with. This is who he's been his whole career. And when we start talking about playoff basketball, it comes down to what? Half court on the offensive end, right? Who's a better team in the half court than Golden State when it comes to playing side to side, continuity on the offensive end, and having a guy that can go out there and slow you down in the half court and go get you a bucket. That's who Jimmy Butler is. That's who Golden State is. So I think this team will be fine. Obviously, when a guy like Steph Curry goes out, there's a huge void there but they have guys that can do their part, that can grind out wins until they get him back on the floor. With a hamstring, who knows when that will be, but I think Jimmy Butler is more than capable of carrying this team to some wins.
Yeah, and I'll say this, even Jaden McDaniels, he said, listen, Buddy Hield's not Steph Curry by any means, but he still plays very similar. He still moves without the ball like him. And man, if he's shooting the ball like he is in the last couple of games, then that is a huge value. And the Warriors don't even really have to adjust how they play because they'll just simply use Buddy how they use Steph. Again, he's not Steph Curry. Steph Curry is on a whole nother planet. But Buddy Hield is playing confident, and they use him in certain situations and actions just like they use Steph. So it's not like they have to go ahead and switch up everything and start playing inside out. They're not going to do that. They're going to hang their hat on the defensive end, and they're going to expect Anthony Edwards to be aggressive early, to get downhill. They're going to play a lot better. Like the Timberwolves didn't give their best performance in game one. So no doubt they're going to be better. But if I'm the Warriors, I already got one. This is just a little cherry on top. We can go ahead and steal two.
Yeah, I was about to say, I still expect the Minnesota Timberwolves to respond tonight. I think they tie this thing up. But again, when you got a guy like Buddy Hield, he's not Steph Curry, but again, the Timberwolves, now they know Steph's not coming out the locker room. He's not coming to save the day. So we can guard Buddy Hield a little differently. We can junk up the defenses. We can trap him when he's coming out of screen and roll, stopping him from catching shoots, being mindful of him in the transition. They can start adjusting to some of those things, which I expect them to do. But again, in the half court, when the games slow down, I like Golden State, the way that they play side to side with the basketball and the things that they're able to do. And so from that, I still feel like I give them a puncher's shot, but I think Minnesota, they bounce back tonight.
Tonight's tonight. By the way, Timberwolves are 12 of 76 from three in their past couple of games. Ant, upon finding out about this number, had this response.
That you guys going 12 for 76 over the last two games is the worst three-point shooting in the history of the NBA playoffs. And for a team that was fourth in three-point percentage and fifth, I think, three-pointers made.
Huh? He said 12 for 70. God damn.
Perfect response, by the way. Just the eyes were like, how can that even be real? Look, they were the fourth best three-pointing team during the season, what have you. And look, the three-point shooting has been such a topic these last couple of games for everybody. But will they snap out of it tonight, Lou? Or maybe not just have that many 12 of 76s.
They have to. And I like the fact that they didn't take this completely serious and they kind of laughed it off. But in the back of your mind, if you're going into that game knowing that that's going to play with your psyche a little bit. They may make you a bull in a china shop. They may make you the type of team that we know that they are. Julius Randle's a guy that can put his head down and he can go dunk the basketball or he can create fouls. We already know what Ant-Man can do when he plays inside the three-point line. So this might be something that they use as motivation and as an advantage for them knowing this stat. But I still expect them to get a bunch of three-pointers up. It's a reason why he added that to his bag. He went into last summer to get to this point in the playoffs to be able to use that as a weapon to beat basketball teams when it gets down to it. And so I still expect them to be a high volume three-point shooting basketball team, but they'll be aggressive as well tonight after seeing that.
12 to 76, they won one of those games. So again, they don't hang their hat as much on the Celtics. They can still win without hitting at a high clip.
It is fun, though. It's like when you eat a whole bag of donuts, but then you look at the calories. It's different when you finally look at the calories versus just eating them. When you hear that number, you're like, oh, God. So it's kind of.
And by the way, Beadle, I've finally gotten to that age. I look at all nutritional facts now. I don't know how
I go the opposite. I went the opposite.
It's been killing me lately.
I eat and then I probably assume it's bad. Who cares? We're all going to die. So we've got an SGP for this evening. You know what? We need to go back and make sure we got, okay, this isn't bad. Anthony Edwards, you get a little, over 40.5 points, rebounds, assists, however you want to do it. Gobert with a double dubs and Jimmy Butler for at least 25 points plus 746. Chandler, if you were a betting man.
I don't love it.
The middle one's a little tricky. The middle one's tough.
Really?
I think Julius Randle's going to be aggressive. I think Anthony Edwards is going to be aggressive. I love the Anthony Edwards one. I think that's a good one, over 40.5, because he's going to do a little bit of everything. Jimmy Butler on the flip side, he also has to be aggressive with no Steph Curry. There's one I didn't love, it's the Rudy, but also he's shown that he can be dominant in the playoffs as well. So I don't love it as much as some of the ones that we've built, but plus 746, it's worth the risk.
Rudy, I got you. Rudy, you're going to get your double-double. Don't you worry about that. Quick break, little say what on the other side.
Run it up, then run it back. Yeah. Run it up, then run it back.
Okay, so the head of the sportsmanship committee, Draymond Green, said that no one respects Dillon Brooks after not shaking anybody's hand after Game 7. There were other words as well, yada, yada. But Chandler, is this a bad look for who? For Brooks, that no one respects him?
Yeah, who are you asking for? For Draymond or Dillon Brooks? Listen, people respect Dillon. I think people respect his game, what he's done. He's turned himself into a valuable NBA player on good basketball teams. Does he get a lot? Are the antics, kind of eye rolling sometimes? Yes. The message is fine. It's just the messenger is a little interesting here coming from Draymond Green, who's probably been fined and suspended more than anybody. And it's okay to not like someone. Just say you don't like him. No one respects him. A little aggressive, a little harsh. There's people that respect Dillon Brooks. I had him in Memphis with me. He's one of my rookies. He's actually an awesome dude. He's gotten a little sideways, but that's who he is. That's how he's found his calling in the NBA. So I actually respect what he's done more so than not. But I don't agree.
What is this, hockey? We got to shake hands for everybody? Come on, Lou.
Yeah, well, no, because again, when you're the villain and you play that card, it's cool. But once the buzzer sounds and it's over, you shake your opponent's hand and you say it was all in competition, it's all love, and you go on about your business. Now, when you don't shake hands and you go off the floor, then you leave that question mark up in the air. Well, if I run into you on vacation, is it still up? Is it still a problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the part that I understand where Draymond is coming from. Like we gotta separate real life from competition. If you don't separate the two things, then it could be a problem when I run into you off the court. And so for that, I understand Draymond's position when he says this.
But if you don't like anybody on the team, it's okay.
If you don't like him, you don't like him. It is what it is.
And I don't like
again, when you
when
you're saying you're trying to hurt a guy on purpose, and you have a reputation for pushing people, for grabbing, and all of these. And somebody says you're trying to hurt them on purpose, and then when we're done competing, you don't shake my hand. So when I run into you, I want a problem. Like, what's up with you? And so I understand where Draymond comes from in that sense. Yeah, you got to bury the hatchet. It was all fun and games. We just competing. It's not personal. But when you don't shake my hand after, you can't help but make it personal. So I understand. I like Dillon as well. He's been nothing but respectful to me the times that I've competed against him, even with some of the antics. Like, he'll do some of those things, and then behind the scenes, he'll tell you, bro, I love your game. I respect you. I grew up watching you, this and that. That's why it's important to have that optic in those situations. I get it.
Full heel, never breaks. Quick break. We'll wrap things up on the other side. Never break, Dillon. Kayfabe.
Run it up. Run it back.
Chandler, I've been thinking about it. Did you figure out which watch I'm going to win when the Celtics get swept or gentlemen swept? I won't pick because that wouldn't be fair, obviously. Just, do you have one in mind?
Not yet.
Okay, all right. Well, let me know.
There's a bunch to pick from these. Don't you worry. There's a bunch to pick
from.
But
there are tiers to this. Don't even try to come at me and be cute.
Speaking of, Chandler, I really appreciate the fact that you don't have iced coffee wherever you are right now, because it's an audio pleasure, my brother.
No ice.
A little vitamin water instead.
What do you? No, I don't want to know. And he's not sunburned, Lou. He's really grown up right before our eyes.
You're on your best behavior. I like it. You're on your best behavior.
You're awful.
Run it back. Run it up. Run it back. Yeah.